What is derived demand? Have you ever wondered how the demand for one product can impact the need for another? This is where the concept of derived demand comes into play. Derived demand refers to the demand for a factor of production, or an intermediate good that arises because of the demand for a final good or service. In simpler terms, the need for inputs like labor, raw materials, or machinery depends directly on consumer demand for the products those inputs help create. For instance, if consumers want more cars, the demand for steel, car parts, and the labor to assemble those cars will increase. This connection is vital in understanding how markets operate within capitalism. In a capitalist economy, businesses respond to consumer preferences by adjusting their demand for inputs. They aim to maximize profits, so they hire workers, purchase materials, and invest in capital only when there is sufficient demand for the final goods or services they produce. Derived demand can be broken down into three main components. First, we have raw materials. These are basic resources like metals, minerals, or agricultural products needed to create goods. Next, there are process materials. These are intermediate goods made by assembling raw materials, such as steel or paper. Lastly, we have labor, which includes workers who operate machinery, assemble products, or provide services. These components create a chain reaction. When consumer demand for final products increases, it causes a ripple effect backward through the supply chain, boosting demand for all the inputs involved. Let's look at some practical examples. An increase in demand for smartphones leads to higher demand for lithium batteries and electronic components. Similarly, rising demand for steel results in more jobs for steelworkers and greater need for raw materials like iron ore. When consumers want more soap, manufacturers hire more labor and buy more chemicals to meet production needs. In capitalism, derived demand highlights how dynamic and responsive factor markets are. Labor and capital are not demanded for their own sake but because they contribute to producing goods and services that consumers want. This mechanism helps allocate resources efficiently, guiding investment and employment decisions based on real market signals. Thus, derived demand is a fundamental concept linking consumer preferences to the production decisions of firms within a capitalist economy. It ensures that resources flow toward the most valued uses as determined by the market.